Friday night training session, here we come. It's just a touch over 7 p.m. Yep, been up since 3 a.m. this morning. Anyway, I'm not tired as of yet. As of yet, that's the key words. So tonight I'm just going to do somewhere between 3 to 4 hours of very easy, low-key aerobic training. I'm going to do some below MAF work tonight, or at least either at MAF or somewhere below. Really depends on how I'm feeling. I feel good now, but you never know what's going to happen when you get out there. So tonight is a training session. And what I mean by a training session is I'm not really doing what I'd like to do right now. I mean, I wouldn't really like to be out here in the dark. I'd rather be out here during the day and having an actual run versus keeping an eye on my heart rate and slowing down when there's a hill and, doing all that annoying stuff. This is a training session. So what I'm thinking about and where my mindset at is for this training session, delayed gratification. I might not want to do what I have to do today, but I know that if I want to achieve a certain result in the coming future, and if I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to recover from this training to get to my other training sessions that I have to do over the weekend, well, I've got to be able to control myself and stay relatively disciplined. And that's a really hard to do, because when you start to feel good, you start to want to push yourself a bit harder. And that's why running in a group is so fantastic. When you're trying to control your settings, your training intensity, can make it a little bit hard. I'm just going up a little bit of a hill right now, so I'm just going to slow down a little bit more. So the reality is, for me tonight, I'm going to do a lot of this. I'm out at the Comleroy Road, which is out near Weenie Creek, near Colo River, if you know the area. Basically, it's a flat dirt road for a couple of Ks, and then it goes down all the way to Weenie Creek. I'm then going to go all the way to the top, and then all the way back down to the Colo River. Well, that's if I have enough time. So basically, I'm just going to do a 90 minutes to potentially 2 hours out that way, and then I'm going to do 2 hours heading back, all within this zone. I'm gonna have a good training session tonight. I'm already feeling better already. There is something about this training zone that just gives you like this high, this flow state. And it's like you can just keep going all day. I don't know why, I always get freaked out by cars. Even though it's only, quite a bit before 8. Okay, so now for nutrition, I've been running these Precision Fuel 90 gram carb pouches. God, they're so good. This for me is, well, especially when I'm actually running and I'm not doing any aerobic work, this is a good hour's worth of fuel for me. 90 grams of carbs, about 350 calories for the hour. It gets me sorted. Because I'm a bit of a bigger runner, I tend to need a lot more fuel and a lot more hydration than necessarily your skinnier, more ectomorph athlete. I'm definitely on the heavier side of things when it comes to running, is for sure. So tonight I won't need an hour. I won't need one of these every single hour, so I'm just going to drip it in a little bit and I'll just see how I go. I won't be pushing myself too hard. Really, all I'm doing is you know what, I haven't even had these since the UTA a couple of months back in May, and I thought, I wonder if I'm not going to be able to actually, put them down, because sometimes you get a bit of palate fatigue. So we'll be interested to see. That's not too bad for the first time, but we'll see what happens in the next 3 hours. One of the most frustrating things about aerobic training is the constant need to check what your heart rate's doing. Especially when you're first starting, it can kind of be all over the shop. And what you will find is that you can just go so much faster than what your heart rate is allowing you to do, especially if you have poor aerobic conditioning. Unfortunately, it can be a real sort of slap in the face, because I know it was for me over a decade ago. When I learned about this sort of training, I was teaching 15 plus spin classes a week, body pump classes a week. I was doing CrossFit, doing, quote unquote, all the right things, but couldn't really make it work. I was like fit but fat, and kind of just fit but no energy. Like I could sort of put out a bit of a performance for an hour or two a day, but I had no energy, yeah, I was tired all the time, hungry all the time. Yeah, just never seemed to work. I didn't really have the body composition that I thought that I should have with the work that I was doing. And a lot of it came down to is I was just aerobically deficient. So it's taken me many, many years. I really want to highlight that word, years. It's taken me years to understand that slowing down is a really hard thing to do. When you want to push yourself, when you're out here and you're like, oh, well, you know, I'm missing time with the family, I'm missing time with the wife, I'm could be working or could be sleeping. There's all these other things you could do. So you tend to want to say to yourself, oh, well, I better make the most of it. So you might want to push yourself a bit harder. However, what that does is it actually trains the training outcome. Well, everyone just thinks that I'm just out running now. How you run, how long you run, how intensely that you run changes your outcome. And it's very important that you understand what the different zones will do and what the different lengths of time and intensity will do onto your body and your recovery. 122. So the reality is I'm a bit behind my desired zone. So I'm just gonna pump. I'm not gonna pump it up. I was gonna say I'm just gonna pump it up. Okay, that would be very, very silly. I'm just gonna pitter patter a bit faster and just come down this hill a little bit more. I can already tell my legs are not gonna match my fitness. Even though I'm doing a lot of strength training, I haven't been doing a lot of running, so I know that my legs are gonna feel quite fatigued quite earlier on. To be fair, tonight I'm just gonna ignore the sensations that are in my leg for at least a good part of it, and I'll just aim to try and hit somewhere close to that zone. Hey, it's really hard to slow down, really hard to pull back, to go, well, like, I can do this. But just because you can do it doesn't mean that it's gonna warrant the result that you're looking for long term. Just because you can do something today doesn't mean that that's gonna benefit you tomorrow, the next day, the next week, or the next block of training that you are leaping towards. I don't know why I've been so quiet. It's only 8 o'clock. Okay, I've made it down to Weenie Creek. I am going to attempt to try and keep my... This is not like me. This is not like me. Don't be a sook, Nathan. Just go through the fucking water. All right, we're going through the water. I was going to walk across the rock, but I don't know. I have this thing that I'm always trying to prove if I'm tough enough, and this is just one of those examples that you can see. That's cold. It's fresh. So I've got 500 mils of water on this side, 500 mils of water on this side. You just see me drop them. I've got some electrolytes here, which I will have, honestly, probably about 1 or 2 every single hour. And then I'm just gonna bleed in that gel that I showed you before. Yeah, well, kind of whenever I feel like it. This is pretty relaxed. I'm not going too hard. It's all aerobic, which is mainly oxidizing fat anyway, so I don't really even need it. However, it's just good to practice, because in a week's time I will be using it. So see, it's either because I'm talking or because now I'm going up. My heart rate shot straight up, 141. That's how quickly your heart rate can change. Here we go. In the change zone, I'm in zone 3. So, I feel like I've heard someone. People are like, how do you go out in the bush at night time? You just do it, but it is a bit creepy, let's be honest. So, get back to what I was saying, is that you've got to monitor it, especially when you're going uphill. I didn't really recognize that my heart rate just went up there, but I definitely know that it did, because I saw it on the screen. It was a good idea for me to actually have a bit of a look as the terrain changed. Now, I could sit here and go, well, Nathan, the goal is that you want to run long distances. Okay, yeah, that's the goal. However, the outcome for this training session is to add to my fitness, not just my running ability. If I want to focus on my running ability, those are some other training sessions. Today is all about building my engine, building my endurance. So it does not matter if I am jogging, walking, doing whatever I got to do to maintain this appropriate heart rate zone. I'm right on 143, so I'm bang on. I'm right where I want to be. And to me,
I love hiking, so this is no worries for me to be hiking. So fitness-wise, this is going to be exactly the same thing as if I was running 5.5 minute Ks on a flat, on a road, fitness-wise. Very, very different in your tendons, very, very different in your skeletal muscle group. Yeah, it is very, very different in regards to those sorts of things. So don't think that specificity is not key. So if you are aiming to run a flat 5Ks, well then predominantly most of your aerobic jogging and walking and running, whatever it is that you're up to, you're going to find that you'll want to be very specific to that. Now, because all my goals are revolved around trails, it makes a lot more sense for me to be out here. Heart rate's just come down a little bit. So now I've got a good another sort of K to a K and a half of going up. My heart rate's just dropping just a little bit. So either I've just settled down from that little bit of, incline at the beginning there. Either that or I'm warming up a bit more, who knows. Now what you're noticing here is I'm checking my heart rate a bit more consistently because I'm just a bit more concerned about, I really don't want to go over into that zone. Now there's nothing that's terrible that's going to happen if I go into a different zone, if my heart rate goes too high. However, what it does mean is I do slightly go anaerobic, and particularly if your body's very aerobically deficient, it will struggle to want to go back into this aerobic zone. Considering I've been doing this for so long, I wouldn't have that problem, but it's just not the outcome that I'm looking for. Another person. Because today's outcome is all about aerobic training, which means I need to have this discipline, this control of the intensity. It's never easy to do. It's actually quite frustrating, especially when you first start. Now you watch. I'm still going uphill. I decided to just do a little bit jogging because my heart rate just dropped a little bit. It's probably going to shoot straight back up. 140, yep. So this is the reality of doing this sort of training is you're going to do this. You're going to go a bit and it's going to go slow down. So then you slow down. You bring your heart rate back down again. And then you build it back up. 147. So that just recognize that I should have and did the right thing, which is slow down. Very important that if you are just starting in aerobic training, and you know what, I'm doing this years and years and years into this, is using a chest strap because it's much quicker response on what your heart rate is actually doing. The watch heart rate monitors are really good if you're kind of in a stationary position, really useless for gym training. I find anyway, heart rate's all over the shop and it's so delayed that it's just like almost fucking useless. However, yeah, it's not too bad for a wrist heart rate. It's not too bad for a bike. I don't find it that bad for that anyway. However, if you want to know what your heart rate's doing, especially if you're getting into some good aerobic training, you need to know, what your heart rate's doing a lot more immediately. And a chest strap is the way to go, for sure. Okay, heart rate's coming down again. Okay, so these little things here that you can see in this bag of mine are electrolyte tablets. Now, if I was running at my capacity, I would be having one of these every 15 minutes. Go back when I did the UTA for 22 hours. Every 15 minutes, I was having one of these, without a doubt. I wonder how many that is. If you can work that out in the comments, let me know. Okay, now it's just flattened out. So the requirement of running to keep the heart rate where it's supposed to be is now happening. Now you may be wondering, why the hell am I out here at a night time doing my training now? Like, why couldn't I just do it, you know, in the morning or at a normal time of the day? And the reality is the way that I see it, and this is not necessarily complete logic, but this is the way that I see it, is that I'm a dad, and I've made a decision to be a dad, and I want to be around being a dad as much as I possibly can. The reality is something has to give. If I still have these goals and I still have these pursuits that I want to achieve for myself, well then I've got to be able to fit it in somewhere. And the reality is I'm just not willing. I don't want to give up family time. Family to me is absolutely everything. And I just don't want to look back and go, right, yeah, I did all that training, but I missed out on everything. Which is just, I just don't want to do that anymore. So I choose times like this because it's convenient for me. It's not convenient, sorry. I choose these times because it's convenient for everything else in my life. My work's done for the week, or most of it, and really, there's only one thing that's going to stop me from getting out here, and that's me. I'm not going to have phone calls, I'm not going to have PT sessions at midnight. Like, I'm just not required. So this is a great time for me to have me time. Now, the reason I always choose the night time, particularly the afternoon, the evening, is I'm not a morning person. And just because I personal train people every day, Monday to Friday, at 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning, doesn't make me a morning person. This is where my work starts, right? I'm actually an evening person. Much rather train and stay up later into the night. This is me. I try to get up early in the morning, and at times I will do it when I absolutely have to, or I'm really motivated, or I'm running out of time. But it just costs me so much energy. It taxes me. Now, the normal response to that is, yeah, but once you've done your training session, don't you feel better in the morning? And I go, yeah, I guess so, but it still just takes me too long to get going in the morning. So unless I have to, I won't train in the morning. So my wife, Nicole, who also makes a big point of ensuring that she gets her training in, she's a morning person. She's not an evening person. So we're completely opposite in that manner, which works perfectly. So it means that I'm out here Friday night, and then by the time I get home and get to bed, it might be a bit after midnight. I'll sleep till the kids wake us up around that 6:30 mark, and then Nick would have already been up doing her training, and by the time we're 7 a.m. Saturday morning rolls around, all the training's done. I've done my long training, my wife's done her training. It's all about sport, the kids, you know, all the stuff that you got to do. Now the reality, obviously there is a consideration that there's a lack of sleep there. So I have to make it my effort, I have to make it my point that the next day or the next night or the nights coming into it is I've got to try and make it a priority. So Saturday night, I can't stay up drinking, I can't stay up and watch movies all night and binge TV shows, because I chose to come out here tonight and reduce my sleep tonight. And if I want to be a half good dad, well then I've got to conserve energy somewhere. So those are the choices that I make, and I'm more than willing to make it, because tell you what, there's nothing like being fit and healthy 24/7.
Hey bud, where you going? What you doing there, bud? Hey? It's like, go away, let me sleep. Okay, just coming into the upper colo. It's 7 degrees. Feels a bit less than that. Now I've had one electrolyte. Not a whole lot of water. I haven't really had a lot to be honest. But what I have had, it didn't really sit on me very nicely. I don't know what's going on. You have your good days and your bad days sometimes. So I am going to have one of these. Have a bit of caffeine
in them. Okay, just hit the 90-minute mark. I am going to turn around. As I said, 3 to 4 hours. I'm going to do probably somewhere between 3 hours or 3 hours, 15 minutes, something like that. Hands are cold, legs, they're all right. Heart rate's definitely fine. Cruising around 130, 135, very elegantly. All in all, not a bad run to come back. Haven't really done one of these sorts of runs for a little while. Should be around that sort of 24-kilometer mark by the time I get back to the car. Nice sort of 3 hours cruising, just chilling and getting some good training under the belt.